Right, let's get into our car talk segment now. The Easter weekend is fast coming to an end, and with that, of course, thousands of motorists will be heading back home tomorrow. We have some safety tips for long-distance driving. We'll also talk about the new technology that can detect when you drink and drive. And of course, with me, motoring specialist Francisco Nwamba. He joins me in studio. Francisco, good to see you. As always, this new technology they're putting in these cars, first of all, before we focus on the drink driving one, this car that Volvo is going to launch that can do that is a self-driving car. Firstly, it's a self-driving car. Yes. How comfortable and confident are you with all these new technologies coming out in these cars?
I think the nice thing that there's been a progression. So we've already seen semi-autonomy happen with especially with the Volvo brand. I've personally driven cars where you can drive up to about 110 kilometers an hour. And for about 15 seconds, you can take your hands off the wheel and this car just drives itself. Yep. And you turn a corner, the wheel turns as well. And then after, you've got a green icon that will tell you that you're good to go. When it goes orange, you need to apply pressure on the steering wheel. And then from there, it will take over the whole process again. So it's slowly putting us into that mindset. But it is a scary thought, especially because in South Africa, one of the things is infrastructure and that whole mental curve to say, am I going to trust this car to really drive itself? It's a scary thought, really.
It really, really scares me. Let's talk about this car now. So Volvo is to install technology in its self-driving cars that can detect if the driver is drunk. Maybe let's actually have a look. Let's look at a short video here that kind of explains how this technology will actually work. Then I'll come back and have a chat with Francisco about it.
The alcohol detection system will measure the alcohol in a driver's blood in less than a second. To get an accurate, reliable reading, two technologies are being explored: a breath-based system and a touch-based system. The breath-based technology pulls the driver's exhaled breath into a sensor, which could be located in the driver's side door or in the steering column as the driver breathes normally. A beam of infrared light is then directed at the molecules in the breath. Carbon dioxide and alcohol molecules absorb different amounts of light, and the sensor can compare the two, making it easy to measure alcohol levels precisely, even at very small concentrations. If the proportion of alcohol molecules to carbon dioxide molecules is above a certain range, it indicates an illegal blood alcohol level. The location and precision of the sensors, combined with engineered cabin airflow, enable the system to capture and test only the driver's breath.
All right, it still scares me, honestly, Francisco. I mean, I think it's fantastic that, especially when it comes to the drink driving part. You know what I mean? It will curb the numbers that we have. But the other thing as well is that unless it's enforced in all cars, the guys who actually do that won't buy a Volvo, will they?
Yeah. And that's the thing, because right now that technology has been pioneered, especially Volvo is really taking it really seriously. And they've mentioned how on their side they're going to use cameras, they're going to use sensors. And like you say, it's a very good initiative, and I really respect that initiative at the same time. But my fear at the same time is that people don't like to be controlled, as it were. Yep. And I think it's a very noble thing that they're doing, and I think it's very good in any case because you need to curb the whole thing. Yeah. I think it's very smart that you'll be able to get into the vehicle, and at the same time, if it detects that you've been drinking and driving, it'll slow you down, it'll warn you. Yep. So it'll pick up your movements of your steering wheel, and at the same time, it'll also pick up to see if you're drowsy, and from there, it'll stop the vehicle. Yep. And at the end of the day, almost like your vehicle's cutting you off, which is actually a great thing at the end of the day because it will mean less deaths on the road and less danger in any case.
Yeah, very true. Just don't eat hot cross buns if it's the breath-based one, isn't it? So it's all about it recognizing the way you usually drive, and if that begins to change, then obviously it says, okay, no, you seem a bit different from the norm. Let's talk about driving tips, because a lot of people are coming back home now from, they've gone wherever it is on holiday, going to be using the highways. We've got a guy who was caught doing 196 kilometers per hour. That's in Gauteng alone. Firstly, it's just the responsibility. Yes. You can give them as many tips as we want, but it's also people need to take responsibility for some of the things they do, isn't it?
Exactly that. And time and time again, we see the exact same thing happen. And I also wondered to myself, don't these guys know that? But I think one of the things that people want to worry about is that it's time. So it's a long weekend, but it's actually really a short weekend. So it's not like a December break. So everyone's rushing, but at the same time, you've been spending time with your family, you might be tired. So fatigue is a major, major player when it comes to, road accidents, especially in this period of time. And again, like you said, drinking and driving again. So I would say, guys, make sure that you rested up. That's the main thing. You need to make sure you're rested. Stay away from the alcohol. You know, I know that there's a whole thing about how much you can drink, but sometimes it's better just not to drink, especially when you're going to do a long stint like that. So it's better to actually stay safe.
And when it comes to the actual car itself, what are the key things that you have to check before you leave, for your destination?
Well, the last thing you want is to break down.
Yeah.
So I'd say tires is a major thing, because tire pressures make a difference in terms of just the comfort of your ride, and at the same time, you don't want to risk a blowout happening.
Yeah.
And at the same time, oil and water, the basics, because a car overheating, especially on a long drive, it can happen. Or at the same time, you don't want to wreck your engine if you have too little oil in your car. So those small little safety checks can mean the difference between you having a safe journey back home or you being stuck on the side of the road, because that comes with its own dangers at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
And most of these cars will tell you that it needs oil, it needs that.
Exactly.
Most of the new cars anyway. So you just pay attention to your dials, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people offer holiday checks before going out or before leaving. And it's a big thing, because if you don't do that, you don't want to be stuck in a situation where your car just conks out on you and you've still got 200 kilometers.
That's actually very true, because most of these motoring companies or the brands, they offer the holiday checks. And the question is, do we actually use them?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also things like just when you're driving, your safety distance between the cars. You get these guys that follow you like that behind, and you're doing 120 k's an hour, and I don't understand their mentality.
Exactly.
What's the distance you should keep?
I think you need to at least have about 2 or 3 car lengths before you, or in front of you in the car, because like you say, in an emergency situation, if somebody brakes and you literally ride on someone's bumper, you're going to run into the back of them, and it causes so much chaos, especially in general traffic when everybody is just in this rush to get home.
Yeah.
So rather take it easy, keep a nice, safe following distance. Make sure that your lighting is right, and also driving at night. You do want to avoid driving when it's very dark, because naturally your body does want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And you also can just put yourself in a situation where your visibility is not where it should be.
Very true, Francisco. Thank you so much. Let's hope some people do take up your tips when they get onto the road tomorrow.